Why do internet strangers support you more than people you know in real life? This is a question that I've had on my mind for as long as I've been making music. It's always puzzled me. I feel like I've always taken people at face value, and I always try to see the good in people. And I don't know. I guess sometimes I just assume people have the same intentions as me, especially people I grew up with. And that leaves me feeling really hurt when they don't live up to that, I guess, expectation that I had in my head about them. And that's completely my fault. I'm not gonna blame anybody in this video. But I've always found it interesting that throughout the 7 years now that I've been posting music online, I've always gotten more support from just random people on the internet. And some of those random people have become like my best friends. Like one of my best friends in music, I met him on Instagram in 2020, right before quarantine. Eventually, 4 years later, I ended up meeting him in real life. And, he's a feature on my upcoming project. Throughout the half decade of me knowing him, he's always supported me and always, encouraged me to continue making music and to continue putting it out there. And I was going through my Instagram followers tonight, which is kind of the reason this whole video kind of came to be. I just saw people that I had been mutually following for 5 years, bro. Like, people I've known since middle school. And, every month, 2 to 3 of them just drop off and I never hear from them again. And I always am just left puzzled. What did I do? I always get frustrated too when I see, people post stuff in their life and it does infinitely better than my music. And I've always gotten jealous from that, especially when I see my friends like that stuff. And then when it comes to my music that I'm putting out, they never like it and they never show appreciation towards it. And it's one thing to be like, I'm not on Instagram. I don't really like things like that. I don't really interact with people. But it's another to see that continuously happening. And you're just left questioning. You're like, what did I do to this person? I still think people think that I'm just, I just do this for fun. I'm not really about that. And I just wonder, when is the point when people finally, people I grew up with, when is the point when they finally see me? And it hurts putting yourself out there and people that you grew up with just cast you out. As humans, we seek the validation of people we're around, right? It's like herd mentality. And if you're constantly just outcasted by the herd you grew up with, it just creates resentment. I grew up here in Ogden, Utah for a while. And, the culture here is very different than the one in Germany, which is where I came from. I don't know. In Germany, I wasn't making music. And it was when I moved to Utah when I really decided that I was going to pursue music. And I was 13 at the time. And I've been doing it every day since then. I've been making music all the time. I've been putting out albums and mixtapes and EPs and singles, and I've been doing everything I can. And I've made that known. People knew me in high school as the guy who makes music. And it just really hurts me seeing my friends unfollow me after these years have passed. And I don't know, there never was any this is why I'm doing this, or you post too much, I don't really care to see your posting. And it's so crazy, bro. As soon as I started posting reels often, people I knew just dropped like flies. I'll just randomly think about them and I would go look at them and I'd see they'd unfollow me. And I hate when they leave me as a follower. That is the biggest it just annoys me so bad. Another thing too is when a person follows 1,000 people and then you go and see that you're unfollowed. And it's like, I know I must have done something to you because you still follow all the mutual people we went to school with. And, you know, you still interact with them. You like had to purposely click to unfollow me. And that just hurts. Like, I don't know how you're not supposed to take that personal. And that, like, it just feeds into my ego. It feeds into my want to be great. I'm just like, I have to prove you wrong. Like, I have to. For the past 7 years, I've been trying to get my name out there and, like, actually trying to make something of my life. And I just hate how you get perceived as corny and you get perceived as a tryhard for actually dedicating your life to something bigger than yourself. Back to the question here. Why do random people online support me more than people I know? And through the past years, I've kind of just gathered theories as to why I think this is. The first one is that strangers online judge the work that you're presenting, and they don't judge you as a person. You know, there's no strings attached. There's kind of like an unspoken social contract when you become a creative in the town that you grew up in, I guess you could say. People know you. People have experiences with you. People have memories with you. And so it's hard for those people to take you seriously. You know, I hated school because I never felt like my ambitions were taken seriously. And, you know, my goals were never treated like actual goals. And in school, it would always be, where are you gonna go for college? What's your job gonna be? And I just never related to that. I always related to the end goal of being a famous professional musician. And like to this day, that's still what I'm trying to do. I feel like people just don't understand that. People that you grow up with, they can't fathom that. They can't fathom that someone that they know could actually make it to main stage at Coachella. That's just a foreign idea. So I think that's why it's hard for them to support you. Whereas a random person online will be like, oh, this is fire. Like, yeah, I'm gonna tap in with that. That's crazy. That's cool. It's new. You're underground. So like, I can kind of gatekeep you for a little bit. It's just a completely different interaction. The second and more kind of egotistical reason I've kind of chalked it up to is simply just jealousy. I feel like a lot of people get jealous. I had a song blow up in 2022. It was called George's Heartbreak. You know, it got 500,000 plus streams. I think it's at right now. And not only was I the only person in my school to do that, I was the only person in my state to have a song that big when I was 16, you know, and I had no idea it was gonna do that. I just woke up one day and the streams were at 1,000, and then slowly over the next year, it just kept building and building, and I got in playlists and I got in TikToks. A TikTok went viral with the sound. Fast forward to 2024, it's got like 500,000 streams, and I thought my life would change. You know, I thought people would finally accept me. I thought people would be like, wow, it's really cool you did that. You have a song with 500,000? Dude, most people don't even see 1,000 when they upload music. And I got lucky enough to have a song really blow up. And like I said, I thought it'd change everything for me. I thought the people that I seeked validation from so desperately would finally welcome me, like an aha moment. Like they would be like, wow, we see you, we notice you, now come hang with us. You're one of the cool kids now. And it never was like that. And so I kind of went through the rest of high school just feeling like an imposter. I got so resentful, and I was like, how on earth do people not see this? Like, I'm waking up every day, I'm checking the streams. How do people not see that? I honestly think that people just didn't care. And after that period of time when that song was getting big, I saw the greatest just mass unfollowing of me from people that I knew. And it was like every day, 3 people I knew would just unfollow me. And I hated posting on Instagram. It sucked. Every time I posted, I'd lose 5 followers. And it was like, what's even the point of doing this? Like, I have a song that's genuinely blowing up right now, and everyone around me is just unfollowing me. It didn't even make sense. It's like, why? It's like I'm doing something objectively cool, and I've hit a crazy milestone, and everyone that I knew, that I grew up with, just was like, just dropped. And it made me so mad. And I didn't really get to enjoy the moment of that song doing well because I was so fixated on what other people thought of me. And I was so focused on the fact that I was losing followers. Bro, I was withdrawing $100 a month from DistroKid. Most people never even see that type of money from music. And, you know, it's not a huge amount of money, but in high school, I was getting an extra $100 a month just off my music. I couldn't even enjoy the fact that that was happening. I don't know, I just feel sorry for myself that I let myself get so wrapped into other people's opinions and focused on literal followers, bro. Like, those people weren't even liking my posts. Why does it matter if they unfollow me? You know? It's just a waste of time. And, you know, I could have been spending that time making content and getting that song to 1 million. But I wasn't. I was just angry in my room thinking about why people didn't invite me to stuff. And so, yeah, I felt like an imposter. I had the song doing really well, and I thought that that was going to be the thing that, like, got me invited to parties. And I thought that people would be like, yo, this cat's cool. He makes music, and it's actually fire. That's another thing, too. When people find out I make music, they always tell me, oh, wow, your music's actually good. And I've always just felt insulted by that, you know? Like, truly, it's so insulting to hear that. It's like, why wouldn't it be good? You know, I spend every day of my life working on this. And even, like, outside of school, when I graduated and started playing shows, it was so demoralizing, bro. Like, I'd announced that I had a show coming up, and 50 DMs, 50 Snapchat messages of people being like, I'm gonna be there, I can't wait for that. And then the day comes and it's 10 people. And it's like, you know, my roommates, my mom, and, you know, some music friends. And it's just like, it's so defeating. One time I had a show, I was supposed to be the opener, and last second they made me headline it. And so I had a day to promote this concert. And, you know, the concert was horrible. Genuinely 5 people showed up. 5 people to this huge, like, 300 cap venue. And I wanted to quit so bad there. Not only was that one of the lowest points in my music career, it was seriously one of the lowest points in my life. And, like, in a twisted thing of irony, the 5 people that came there, 2 of them were people that I had been seeking validation from throughout high school. Like, kind of acquaintances that became friends, and then there was some, like, hot water, so I distanced myself, but I still, like, desperately wanted their approval. And they were the ones to show up, and they saw me fail. It was like a humiliation ritual, bro. I was singing my songs in front of 5 people. 2 of them knew me, and it was so embarrassing. It was the worst thing that happened in my career, like, to this day. And I've just, throughout my whole career, I felt like nobody that I knew in real life was supporting me. And that has been, like, the hardest thing to just accept in my entire journey doing music. I just don't get it. I still don't get it, you know? I went through my Instagram tonight and I unfollowed a bunch of people. And a lot of those people had been following me for years. And I just got sad. It's like, what did I do? You know, I didn't change who I was. I didn't become a different person. I didn't talk about them behind their back. You know, it could all just be chalked up to they didn't like my music anymore, or they didn't like me, or they thought I was annoying, posting a reel every other day. Whatever it may be. I also think another thing to realize is that the city you grow up in the place that you start making music, or whatever it may be in, they're gonna be the last place that accepts you. And they're going to be the last place to, you know, give you a legitimate chance. But they're always going to be the first place to hit you up and say, remember who made you famous? This was us. You knew us. We were friends. Look at all we did for you in high school. And an important thing to realize is you don't owe them anything. Don't ever compromise yourself because someone that you used to want approval from comes back into your life and starts demanding that they get a piece of what you've created. It's happened to me so many times. One time, this is kind of a random side story, but I haven't seen my extended family in nearly a decade. And last year I went to see them and my aunt comes up to me. It's been 10 years since I saw her last. And just very sarcastically was like, "Oh, the rock star has shown up. When are you gonna have a job for me?" And I was so taken aback by that. I was like, it's been 10 years since I've seen you, and the first thing you're gonna tell me is if I have a job for you? It's so disrespectful, you know? And rock star, calling me a rock star like that was just so... It's just so gross, bro. It's like I'm your nephew. Why would you talk to me like that? Why would you just spit on my dreams and aspirations? Why would you do that? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. And that's the point I'm making. Literally, random strangers can support you more than your own family. And that's just how it's always gonna be. And the last thing I wanna say is, if you notice a lot of strangers are supporting you versus the people you know, it can be hard to look at that. You know, like I was saying with the song, I had 500,000 unique people streaming my music, and I was focused on the 50 that didn't care for me. And while I was thinking about that, I missed out on a whole world of people that gave me a chance. And I'm never gonna do that again because I've realized that a huge influx of random online strangers supporting you means you're doing something good. It means you're standing for something. It means you're making objectively good art. People around you will just never see that, and they're always going to succumb to the pressures of the society around them. And it's so apparent here. You know, I'm the only person I know that's trying to pursue this at my age range. I'm the youngest person I know out of all my music friends. There's always going to be people judging you, and there's always going to be people assuming you'll never make it. And then as soon as you do something right, they'll come crawling back, telling you to respect them and to give them validation. It's crazy how it works. But yeah, that's the last thing I want to say is just think about that. If you have a massive influx of random people supporting you versus the people in your hometown, you're doing something good. You're doing something right. What that means is your work and your idea is resonating beyond the boundaries of where you grew up in. And that's amazing. That's something to actually be proud of. You put yourself out there and it resonated with however many people out there in the world. I don't know. That's cool to me. And I think I have that perspective because of how much time I spent focusing on stuff that didn't matter. And so yeah, appreciate the people that support you when they do, because a lot of the times they don't have to. And don't focus on the people that never gave you time of day, because they don't matter. It's as simple as that. Thank you for watching.